Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Unleashing DePIN Podcast. My name is Tyler. I am your host, and I'm excited for this next guest that we get to have on the pod. If you were at our DePIN Degens event during Consensus, you're probably familiar with this project. They were one of the hardware sponsors, so shout out to one of the lucky winners who was able to grab that giveaway during our event. Before we jump in, I did want to make one quick announcement. Our team did recently share a new public good tool for the space. It's called DePIN Pulse, and it's going to be the easiest way to find DePIN earning opportunities from hardware, staking, lending, protocols, activities, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a link to that pinned in our bio on our Twitter, so please go take a look at that. But without further ado, I am very excited for our next guest. Charvel from Wayru is here. Charvel, welcome to the pod. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Tyler, for the invitation. I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Happy to be able to share with everybody what we're doing at Wayru.
Absolutely. I've been a big fan of what you're building. We've talked a lot of times between my day job and what you're doing, and then obviously for the podcast stuff, because I think it's super, super important. So before we start jumping into really what Wayru is and what you're building, can you share with the audience a little bit about your background, how you got in Web3, how you got into DePIN specifically, and then we can jump in from there.
Yeah, sure thing. So for anybody just joining, my name is Charvel Chedraui. I'm CEO and founder at Wayru. I've been working on the telecom sector for over 12 years now. I developed the first Wi-Fi marketing platform in Latin America, and I worked as a regional Wi-Fi marketing director for a multinational company in Latin America as well, where I led teams in over 6 countries, and we connected millions of people with a Wi-Fi marketing platform. But I wasn't actually solving the problem that I wanted to solve when I was there. So I quit that job and I built a company that helped businesses at the bottom of the pyramid to share Wi-Fi and sell micro recharges. So this was very local, but it was a decentralized network. It started around 2017, 2018. And then it actually kicked off in 2019, but it got closed. We had to close shop during COVID. All the stores were closed. Nobody was out. So there was no revenue. Everything was just so dormant that we had to close. I like skateboarding. I'm 37 years old. I was born in Ecuador. I live in Miami, but I'm currently in Guayaquil right now as we're speaking. That's in Latin America. That's one of the largest cities in Ecuador, one of the largest ports in Latin America, and one of the most important export ports from the region. It's a big city. I was born and raised here, and I'm here because we have a partnership with the United Nations going on, and it's being deployed here in Latin America, starting in Guayaquil in Ecuador. So that's why I'm here now. How I got into DePIN? Well, as I mentioned, I was in DePIN before DePIN was DePIN. And then, in 2021, I started building Wayru when I actually brought the blockchain element to try to solve the problem of lack of connectivity around the world, because our focus is to connect the unconnected. That has been my main focus. And like my origin story is because when I was in school, when I was in the university, I had this test or this homework, something that I had to do, and I didn't internet access. I wasn't home. I didn't have mobile data. I didn't have any money to pay for mobile data. I was a lot younger, and I asked for the Wi-Fi of a cafeteria. They asked me to pay for a coffee and to get the Wi-Fi password. And I did it, right? I paid for the coffee and the password worked, but the Wi-Fi wasn't working quite as I expected. So I got mad and I said, how is it that I cannot get access and I can pay for it somehow? What's happening with the rest of the people that cannot afford it or don't have the means that I have? And then I realized this is probably late 2011, early 2012. And then I see that so many people around the world don't have connectivity, right? And I just became obsessed with this problem. I'm like, I love the internet. Like, everybody should have internet. Why is people not getting online? How are they not researching, learning, just using it for whatever they want? And yeah, I just got hooked with that problem. I actually quit school while I was studying my second career, architecture. I quit school because of this idea that I had that I could serve internet access somehow to underserved communities and underserved people, and here I am today.
That's amazing. The problem of connecting the unconnected is both really important, and it's a really big problem that needs solving. And it's amazing that there's project founders like yourself in the space that are making that happen. So you were solving ubiquitous connectivity, connecting the unconnected. What was sort of, and you talked about how you were involved in the telecom market, trying to, enable some of these other components within the space. What was the sort of the genesis behind Wayru as the business that it is today, with sort of this blockchain component, with some of the other things that really make it what it is? How did you land on this quote unquote business model within DePIN and whatnot for Wayru specifically?
Right. So it all started with the problem, of course, like the lack of connectivity problem has like so many different phases and so many things that need to be done to solve that, all the way from distribution, backhaul, to last mile connectivity to users. So when we started Wayru, it started a little bit different than what it is today. The idea was to deploy like ISP types of networks, wirelessly, and allow anybody to invest in that infrastructure and share the rewards. It was like a different type of DePIN because of the specific problem that we were trying to solve in some markets in Latin America. And then, of course, it evolved to what it is today. Today, anybody can become a hotspot operator very easily by hosting one of our devices, and users can connect directly to any Wi-Fi network shared. But it started differently. And when it started, as I mentioned before, I had all this background and all these insights about the region and the lack of connectivity and how we could potentially solve it. I had a solution before, but it was very, very local, and we needed to expand internationally, right? Because if you do it locally, you can do it, you can pay out in the currency of the place that you're deploying on. You don't even need crypto. But if you want to make this transparent, grow fast, and be 100% decentralized, where you don't decide how much you pay, but it's done by smart contracts, we needed blockchain to do that. And I got into blockchain a lot. I got into blockchain around 2017. And I got into blockchain because I found projects doing connectivity stuff. All those projects are dead now. Most of them rugged. Some of them were scams. Some of them, I just think they didn't have a proper business model. Maybe they tried, but they didn't make it. Like, it's not easy to build a startup. Like, you have to think very hard before you build a startup. It's easier just to get paid every week, right? Anyway, I had all this experience, right? And during 2020, I got into crypto a lot more. I bought some Bitcoin, bought some Ethereum, and then I realized that I could use this tech to actually solve the problem that I was out to solve for so many years. And that's when it all clicked, right? I had this first model, and about a month after, talking to people, getting feedback, talking to possible pre-seed investors, trying to apply to accelerators, we of course realized we could improve the model. We improved it, and then about June 2021, we kicked off with Wayru.
That's fantastic. Walk us through the business model of Wayru. How does it really work from, getting hardware, deploying it? How do users connect? What's the economic incentive model? Can you just give us sort of a 500-foot overview of how the business model itself works with Wayru?
Sure. So as a company, you have to focus on making revenue somehow if you want to make a sustainable business. Like, if you just solely depend on the token price and only crypto transactions to pay for fees, like, you need millions of those every day to be able to make a sustainable business. So in a DePIN model, let's talk about ours. We sell devices, right? We make revenue there, but we also allow other people to participate from the ecosystem by bringing their own device and turning it into a Wayru hotspot using our proprietary firmware called Wayru OS. This firmware is compatible with a variety of routers, some brands like TP-Link, D-Link, MikroTik, Ubiquitous, and other top brands that are very easily available to anybody around the world. That's why we chose those brands to start with, because they're very easy to get for anybody. So anybody can become a hotspot operator today. And if you use our firmware, you pay a license fee of $50, right? So you pay for that license, and that license is going to be good for 2 years. And then you need to renew the license because we make updates every time we need to. We provide the support, and we of course get more and more compatibility with more and more devices. On the user side, users need to download. Most of our users are not crypto users. You have to understand that people looking for internet connectivity not necessarily are into crypto, and that's why they're looking for internet connectivity. Most of them are not into crypto because they don't have internet connectivity. They need connectivity. So most of these users are non-crypto users. What we do, we allow them to connect to our networks through a captive portal or by using our mobile app to get connected directly on any of Wayru's networks without even knowing what a wallet is. They don't have to know anything. They just download the app, or through the captive portal, they get online. But we, of course, want to onboard them to Web3, right? That's the best for the ecosystem. And of course, it's the best for us as well as a company that is looking to make money, correct? To sustain the project and to make this a long-lasting company. So yeah, that's how users get online. Now, how the rewards are distributed. We started with our first version of how this would be, how people will be rewarded when on mainnet, which was solely focused on consumption. And this is good, right? This is good for the long term because you only reward hotspots that are providing connectivity. But what happens with the user? The user becomes a user when they have good coverage. If they don't have coverage that they know that they're going to be able to have or to use wherever they're going, they might not download your app or pay for your service, or they will just not. If you just see one hotspot like about 100 miles from the other hotspot, that's not good for the final user. So what we have done, we have put together a schedule, a rewards mission schedule, so that it's going to be it's going to last over 100 years, and it's going to be predefined. So every year, less tokens come out than the year before. So it lasts a long time, and a portion of that goes to something we call the universal basic income, which is going to be paying daily to every hotspot active on the network, but they have to comply with some requirements. Like there's a heartbeat that is going to be done every hour. There's a speed test that is going to be done 8 times a day at different times, and there's 5 tests that the hardware has to go through during one epoch, which is a day. In each year, we have 365 epochs, which is one day. So every day, hotspots are going to get rewarded. We're working on updating this today. So in about a month, well, depending on when this airs, you're going to have this available. So you're going to start getting daily rewards from the universal basic income and from the usage and performance income, which is basically when somebody connects to your hotspot using premium access, you will get paid for that premium services that you're providing to these premium paying users. So we have the 2 types of rewards. The universal basic income, basically for having your device up and running and active, and for the usage when somebody actually connects to your hotspot using a premium service. Because since you are getting paid for the universal basic income, anybody can connect with limited speeds and limited time frames for each connection, but for free. So anybody can just go and get connected for free anywhere. And the way we get revenue from those free users are via ads. So sometimes they watch ads, and this is how we as a company monetize, so that we can provide this access layer to your hotspot. Let's say if you were a hotspot operator. And then whenever you are deploying a hotspot, you have to burn tokens. You're going to be required to burn tokens when deploying a hotspot on mainnet. And you're also going to be required to burn tokens to generate data credits. Data credits are basically the way for users to get online, and you will have to burn a specific amount of tokens to get a data credit, and a data credit is about a gigabyte of data. And we're looking to have the cost of burning tokens for that data credit to be probably 50 times lower to what people are used to paying in emerging markets for connectivity. Some places it's going to be up to 100 times cheaper, which is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So from the end consumer standpoint, sort of the monetization paths are you can connect for free, you get served ads as a way to basically access the network at sort of a lower bandwidth or a lower speed layer. But if you want, you can pay a premium to be able to maybe remove the ads and get faster connectivity. Is that kind of the two
100%.
paths, if you will? And
100%.
our users that are on the end consumer side that want that upgrade path, are they paying in fiat? Are they paying in crypto? How are you sort of interfacing with the crypto component for these new users who are just getting online and getting Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so they can pay in fiat. Most of these users are non-crypto users. When these users create an account with us and download the mobile app, they can create their own wallet there. They get an automatic wallet created, and then they can create more wallets if they want. And it's self-custody, so they are hosting their wallets on their devices. We don't have access to that, but we allow them to pay in fiat, and us as let's say the only official vendor today, we burn the tokens to provide them with the data credit. So probably we already had burned some tokens to get data credits to be able to serve them fast whenever they want them, instead of doing that immediately, because depending on the chain, it's going to take longer. They will need to have tokens, so we make it easier for them. They pay in fiat, and then the vendor, in this case us, we have to burn the tokens to get them the data credits.
Yeah, it's
this
a
way
great model.
This way we can expand this model to Web 2 people. For example, let's talk about an example. Let's say there's some municipality, they want to deploy free Wi-Fi for people, right? Let's say they already have the free Wi-Fi deployed, 1,000 hotspots, right? They can turn those hotspots into Wayru hotspots, right? Burn some tokens to start earning rewards, and then they can do two things. They can become a reseller themselves of data credits, so they can have a way of people getting online around the city, and they can decide what the price is and pay them directly. They will have to burn tokens to get those, the ticket that they will provide the final user, because you have to bring this to the reality, right? To how this is going to be used in real life. It sounds so nice when you see burn this, burn that, do this, that. The user will have to burn, but who's going to burn that? Which user? It depends on your project. In our case, in a specific case, we're talking about connectivity to people that don't have connectivity. They don't know about blockchain. They're not going to go to an exchange and create a Binance or whatever account to get tokens and then try to get Wi-Fi for 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. So we as a company have been working very hard and diligently for the past year, talking to customers, launching and relaunching updates on the mobile app to get it just right, for users to be able to download the app, participate from the ecosystem, and get online easily.
It's a great model, both on the how you're sort of incentivizing those deployments, leveraging DePIN, but also really abstracting away the complexity from the user. And you're also simultaneously solving that ubiquitous coverage by not requiring any kind of payment that is part of that access. So you're really solving all of the whole gamut of the problem you're looking to solve, which I think is really amazing. From a network deployment and sort of robustness level, can you talk a little bit about where you're at in terms of nodes on the network, sort of where that coverage is? It sounds like Latin America has really been a big focus for you, but can you talk about a couple of those growth metrics for people that are interested in where these units have been rolled out?
Sure thing. So let's talk about what's happened during the past year and a half, kind of, okay? So the end of the bull market, bear market started, nobody was investing in crypto, nobody was buying devices, it was very hard. We had sold out of our first sale of 200 devices. It was great. We also had started partnerships that also deployed about 300 devices with the UN and other parties in Latin America. But then everything got stalled, right? Everything stalled because of the bear market. And what we did, we moved fast and we realized, okay, if we cannot get supply today, people buying hotspots because they know it's a bear market, they'd rather not invest in a token that is not even out yet, because they were going to buy a hotspot that was going to promise them tokens later. So we said, let's focus on the supply side for a change, on the demand side, for a change, just for a bit. And what we did, we allowed people to start sharing their known Wi-Fi with the community and just mapping their own hotspot, their own Wi-Fi that they had at home or at their favorite restaurant. So in a way, they turned that into a Wayru Wi-Fi point that people could use. We shouldn't call those hotspots because that would be lying to the community. That's a shared network. Somebody shared it with their password, and the protocol cannot get access to this network or to this device in any way or form. You can only do one thing, and it's what we do. We map these networks with the help of the community. They share the location, the password, and the SSID. Everything's encrypted. And when you go to the place, you click connect because you see the point on the map, and it connects you automatically. So when we started this, we started mapping networks ourselves. We are in 7 countries in Latin America. We had folks, friends, partners around the world that helped us start mapping these networks. And then the community started mapping networks. Today, we have 10 million networks mapped around the world.
Amazing.
These are not hotspots. These are Wi-Fi networks that are either open or your password protected network at your house. You can share that with the mobile app and start earning rewards for that as well. But you will earn less rewards. You won't get like a universal basic income for that because we cannot make sure that the network is also, or it's really up and running. But you will get rewarded every time somebody connects to that network through our mobile app, which is amazing because it allows anybody to participate in a DePIN project without having to invest a great amount of money like you have to do in so many projects, right? $400, $500, $600 for a router. It's kind of steep, right? But a lot of people won't join. And if we talk about the real problem that we're solving at Wayru, which is the lack of connectivity, and we release the devices at $500 or more, how are we going to get those devices out? Like how many people are actually going to be into crypto, be into DePIN, be into Wayru, and be able to pay $500, right? So yeah, we're focusing a lot of bringing the barrier down. We've done that with proprietary firmware. We can talk about that in a bit. And we're working on the future of actually getting these to the masses. And the only way to do that is to make it very, very accessible. $500 a piece is not going to do that.
Right. It's a super strategic plan. I really appreciate that you guys are tackling it from a sort of a myriad of different angles in terms of ensuring that connectivity. I do want to dive into Wayru OS because I think that's one of the really interesting parts about your project. But I did have one other question, which was you talked about mapping these sort of access points. They may not be Wayru sort of specific hardware. Are you able to leverage on the sort of the demand side users that actually have the application to tap into underserved connectivity points? And so maybe said another way, you're able to see where there is a lack of Wi-Fi coverage and maybe incentivize the deployment within certain areas using the demand side of people that are already on the app. Is that kind of part of your model at all?
Yes, 100%. This is, for us, very important. The idea behind getting the demand side up and running fast, it was so that we can get data from these users where they're trying to get connectivity at, where there is no connectivity and people need connectivity the most. So we can map better where connectivity is needed. So when our Explorer comes out, we're building a new Explorer because we have one within the app. We're building a web version of it, and you will be able to see where connectivity is most needed as well. So where you will get boosted rewards if you deploy hotspots, and where you get regular rewards by deploying hotspots as well. So the mapping allows people to get online today in networks that somebody else shared, and it also allows us to say, hey, there's this network shared in this area. These are not hotspots. This could be hotspots. Deploy these hotspots, either to the person that deployed the network or to trusted deployers in that area that could take care of that area of high coverage to go and bring Wayru hotspots there as well. Because when you have a Wayru hotspot, you can do so many more things, right? You can advertise on the Wayru hotspots. You can offload data from carriers if you have a Wayru hotspot. So whoever shared that network is going to get a lot more rewards, and the protocol is going to get a lot more value if we have a hotspot instead of a network. But it was the best first step during the bear market because the other side, the supply side, was nearly dead, right? it happened because of so many reasons, right? One of the biggest projects lost, I don't know, 70% of their hotspots during that end of bull and start of and bear market last year. And so that was very discouraging for a lot of builders and people trying to get into these types of projects that required hardware and maintenance and I don't know, hands-on whatever you were participating. It's not like you bought a token, just left it there and waited till it moved. You had to actually put something more. So a lot of people got discouraged, and that's why we focus on the demand side as well. We had we have so few users back then. Now we're growing like crazy. Every day we're getting 1,000 to 2,000 new downloads on the mobile app, which is amazing. And you can validate this yourself. You can go to the stores and you can see the amount of downloads. Some projects say they have so many users, but then you go to the apps and they're like, but they're not using the app. Like, how are they your users? And I think that's like a very nasty strategy, because you are basically ripping off people with hardware costs and then ripping off people with fake stats. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. It's kind of a sickening proposition, but I love when you get to see how the flywheel is working. You know, you've got the demand kicking in, you've got the supply kicking in, and then they sort of feed each other in this feedback loop that is able to make the network better, and then the user experience for these thousands of people that are joining every day just better for them as well. So
what we did, sorry that to interrupt, what we did, now you mentioned the flywheel, we tried to apply the DePIN flywheel on the supply side. We applied that to the demand side. We're like, how do we hack this flywheel when I need to get supply to get demand? Why don't I have both, right? Why don't I try to get this demand going on, so then we get this premium supply of the hotspots, right? And that's what we decided maybe about a year ago, and a little bit more maybe, and we just focused on that to be ready for this next cycle.
Yeah, it's so great. And I you always hear about how this DePIN sort of flywheel effect is able to be leveraged. You're doing it really uniquely, and it's also happening in real time, and you can see that on both sides of the equation, which I think is great. I wanted to chat about the Wayru OS, because I think that's one of the really unique differentiators between you and other projects out there. Can we talk about sort of what the Wayru OS is? You already touched on it a little bit, but can we kind of unpack that further, and how that really is going to be a massive enabler for your ubiquitous coverage goal of solving this big problem? How does that sort of play into your model?
Sure. So in my personal perspective, Wayru OS for me is like the most important differentiator that we have, and it's going to revolutionize connectivity DePIN, the connectivity DePIN sector, because today, for you to get a device, you have to spend so much money. And this is one of the steps we took to bring down the barrier to join a DePIN. So Wayru OS is a proprietary firmware which is used to run, or that runs on our devices. That's the OS that runs on our devices. And what we did, we extended compatibility so it could run with other devices as well. So today you can get a Wayru device directly from us. Well, not now, our shop is closed, but we're gonna reopen soon. Or you can bring your own device. If you bring your own device, you flash the firmware, turn it into a Wayru hotspot using our proprietary Wayru OS, and you become a hotspot operator right then and there. Very easy. We have compatibility with 10 devices right now, other than ours, and we are working towards our goal of having thousands of compatible devices. And the way we do this, we are using the base of OpenWRT, which is an open source software for routers, for telecommunication devices. And what we are doing now, or we are focusing on building a layer on top of OpenWRT, so that anybody that already has a hotspot with OpenWRT anywhere in the world, and there's thousands of compatible devices. If you go today to the openwrt.org website and you go to the table of hardware, there's thousands of brands and tens of thousands of models that are compatible with OpenWRT. So this way, we will make it automatically easy, let's say, very, very easy to expand on our network just by allowing people to turn their probably already existing devices that they have somewhere in a drawer, or you can get a secondhand used router for $20 and turn that into a Wayru hotspot if you don't want to spend too much money and try it out. You do have to pay for the license fee, but it still makes it the cheapest way to become a connectivity, to become a hotspot or operator on a connectivity or in a DePIN project overall. So Wayru OS is going to allow us to grow a lot faster. And one of the main important reasons was also because, let's say you live in a place where you have, I don't know, high customs tax, right? And you order a $500 device from whoever's selling a router for $500, right? And you get that into a customs, and you have to pay $300, $400 to get it out of customs, right?
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. So there is no way you're going to have a global network of hotspots if it's hard to get a hotspot, if it's expensive to get a hotspot, and if you have to pay customs when you import that hotspot, because you don't make the hotspots in every country. You make, most of them are made in Shenzhen and then shipped out around the world. Right. And whenever they get to customs, they have to pay a lot of money. So that's why Wayru OS is so important to us, because it brings the barrier down to join our project.
Yeah, I think that's
and
really
one more
important.
thing. Sorry that I forgot. Wayru OS will also allow you to become a manufacturer. So if you tomorrow want to become a Wayru hotspot manufacturer and sell devices for cheaper or for more expensive because it's a premium device, it looks nice, whatever you want to do, right? You can just become a manufacturer through Wayru using our proprietary firmware, the Wayru OS, because that's basically what you need to bring your device to life.
That's so great. What does the sort of flashing experience look like for someone that already has a hardware device? How easy is it to get the Wayru OS installed on that hardware?
So it will take you depending on the device. We have a list of devices, and we have how hard it is to flash each one of those, because they're different from different vendors, so they have different methods. So it's not hard, it's easy. You just have to follow the steps that we have laid out on our current docs, and it will take you anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes to flash it. And once it's flashed, you onboard that to your account with a mobile app, and it takes about 5 minutes between it onboards it to your account. It means the non-fungible node, which is the NFT that represents your device on chain, and which is your token of authenticity and of ownership of this said device. So when you have that token in your wallet, that is the wallet that will get to claim the rewards for that hotspot.
That's great. It's so easy. Everybody needs to turn their home Wi-Fi into a participant in the network.
It's super easy.
You talked about the NFT for the hardware, and you mentioned a couple times, the various token aspects of your project. And I know that one thing that's interesting is you're taking a multi-chain approach. Can you sort of talk through the different chains that you're building on top of, kind of how that multi-chain approach fits into the broader Wayru strategy, and sort of give some insights and details there for people curious?
Sure thing. So today Wayru is compatible with Algorand, which is the blockchain that we started on a couple of years back. Great technology, fast, reliable. It's always running. Probably one of the best options to build on top. Technically wise, if we talk about the technical side, one of the best. We also have compatibility with IoTeX, and we have compatibility with the PIG network. It's not live, the PIG network yet. It's dormant. It's only accessible for builders to build until it's live. But we also have compatible there, and IoTeX as well. IoTeX is also live today. You can deploy your hotspot, and either if you buy it from us or you bring your own, you can choose where to mint your NFT. So that means your hotspot is going to be accruing value to the token in the chain that you deployed it on. So that's
Gotcha.
up to you as an operator. And we did this because there's a couple of DePIN friendly blockchains, right? That if you're in one of them, you wouldn't try a project in another because you are such a fan of this blockchain project, right?
Right.
So that's why we realized that we should make it easier for the deployer to choose where to mint the token. And of course, the token is going to do better in a chain than another, depending on how many hotspots we have or how many rewards are being generated in that specific chain. Now, we are building compatibility with other blockchains as well. We are building compatibility with Base. We are building compatibility with Binance. We are building compatibility with Arbitrum, and we are building compatibility with Solana. So we are building all this compatibility because these other blockchains might not be the best technically wise for DePIN. Probably transactions are more expensive. Maybe the chain is a little bit slower, or it fails a lot, like a lot of failed transactions. Like there's so many things that you need to look for, technically speaking, to choose a blockchain. But since for the user, it makes no difference. Like for the Wi-Fi user, they just connect to a hotspot.
Right.
They just connect to a hotspot through data crates, which is not an on-chain element. So data crates is not on-chain, so they can connect to any hotspot, and then the hotspot generates the rewards, or it's paid the rewards on the chain that they minted the hotspot on. That's
Gotcha. I think
that's our multi-chain strategy, allowing people to choose the chain that they prefer to launch their hotspot on.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely living in a multi-chain future, and you got to go where A, the users are at, and B, where people are comfortable. And if you're already like in one ecosystem and you want to stay there, I think it makes sense to sort of serve customers where they're at.
Yes, of course, that also makes sense. Like if you're already somewhere and you rather stay there, everybody has different views. Like nobody knows how this is going to end. Nobody knows what is the right path. We are all trying to do our best, because I know that if any other tokenomics specialist or connectivity founder or whatever, they know what's going to happen next year, that's not true. That's not true, right? And we can only hope for the best, try to use data to make decisions, and not just make decisions out of the blue, but try to use feedback data and actual real world use cases and results from those use cases and pilots to actually plan your next step. Because you can plan ahead, but then next year, something's going to change on the ecosystem, and we have to be able to adapt to that. So nobody knows the truth. We only know that we only know some fundamentals, right? There's connectivity is needed. The way of providing connectivity is more availability of this connectivity, more hotspots, more ways to connect. Though if we need more hotspots, we need more people to deploy hotspots. If people want to deploy hotspots and it's hard or expensive, it's not going to happen, and the project's not going to work. So we have to go, as you said, where the community is, and where, or to the path or through the path that community is willing to take, right? Lay that path for them to take. In this case, Wayru OS, like convert your current hotspot into Wayru, or get a hotspot from us, but for 20% of whatever you're paying elsewhere.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same deal, right?
I love the pragmatism. I think that's the way to go, without question. Well, gosh, we've talked about a lot of different aspects of Wayru, specifically, the big problem you're solving, how you're getting there, some of the nuances of that. Was there any other ideas or things that we didn't get a chance to cover that you want to share that's important for the community to hear?
Yeah, so we are going to be releasing new documentation in the next couple of weeks, but depending when this airs, for whoever's listening, maybe they're already out. I don't know. These docs lay out the emission schedule for the tokens. So for whoever reads this, it will be very clear that the faster that you get onboarded as a hotspot operator, the most rewards are going to be rewarded to your hotspot, because the way that rewards are going to work let's say in an epoch, we have 1,000 hotspots that are active. And for that epoch, we have 10,000 tokens that need to be rewarded to the operators of that epoch. If we have, let's say we have 10,000 and 10,000, but only 1,000, right, comply with everything so that they get rewarded for the daily, for their universal basic income. So these 10,000 tokens for that epoch will be rewarded for all those operators. If the next week or next day, there's double the operators, the same amount of rewards are going to be released during that epoch, because we have a specific amount of rewards per year that are divided into epochs, which are days on the year, 365 epochs, and that's how the rewards are divided for the operator. So the faster you get on board, the more you're going to get out of the network. We also have some mechanisms to just stray away from bad actors, like hotspots that are not providing any connectivity, hotspots that haven't connected a single person in X amount of time, so that they don't get the universal basic income because they don't deserve it, right? They have to comply with all the requirements. If X amount of time goes by and they're not compliant, your rewards start going down as an individual hotspot until you get marked as inactive on the network.
Makes total sense.
Universal basic income is not bad because we do not provide that to people not serving the cost of connectivity by actually providing proper connectivity. Sometimes people are not going to connect to your hotspot, but the illusion that your hotspot generates coverage-wise helps people connect to the hotspot probably, I don't know, the other side of the street, right? Or
right.
Next door. Because they know that in this area there's 10 hotspots, but somebody came and disconnected to one. But they came because there were hotspots in this area. That's why they deserve to be paid universal basic income, as long as they comply with daily requirements, which are heartbeat, speed test that is going to be made. You have to provide a specific amount of speed, at least X amount of speed, to be able to get your rewards. You're going to have a latency test and a couple of other tests done there about the quality of the connectivity. And of course, that the wireless radios are up and running 24 hours straight. Because if a user comes by your hotspot and it's not up, but it was showing that it was running on the mobile app, that user is going to get like a bad experience. And if you don't get all your rewards, because I don't know, you complied with half, and the other half of the tokens that you were supposed to get, that goes into an insurance pool that is going to be used to reward these users that didn't get the coverage they were supposed to get, so that we don't lose that user and comes back to use your hotspot the next day. Because if not, we just lose that user. You lose it, I lose it, everybody loses if they go. We have to retain the users by awarding them something whenever they don't have the best connection. And when they end, providing the best connectivity possible at the best price possible elsewhere. I asked for a few things and I just went, like there's so many things that I could say and explain about Wayru, like time. It's not enough. Well, I think maybe we can do this again.
Absolutely. We're always excited to have follow-up conversations to chat about how things are going. But I think at a macro level, everybody is going to be appreciative of how detail-oriented you are on all the components that require this to work and scale for all the stakeholders, not just people that are deploying, but those that are actually accessing it, and then those that are sort of cheating the system or taking away that UBI from the other participants that are node operators. So I think it's sort of a well-rounded approach that almost everyone's going to really, really appreciate. The last question before we get a chance to wrap it up: for your specific hardware that you sell, is there an expected timeline on when more hardware hotspots will be available? Is that something you're able to share at all with people?
It's going to be up maybe mid-July, probably. We'll have the shop open again, but it'll have something special on the shop.
Okay.
It's not going to just reopen for the Genesis devices. Like there's some great things we're working on that we're going to be releasing to our community and to the overall DePIN community to come and join Wayru.
Okay, well, we're going to be excited and ready, and we'll be happy to share all of that information when it comes out, including your new docs and then the special announcement that's coming in July here. So Well, with that, I think we can wrap it up. Where can listeners stay updated with everything that you're building, that you're releasing? So once it comes out in live, they're able to sort of jump when the time comes.
The best place to go is our Discord server because we have channels there for every type of user, operators, Wi-Fi users, validators, and all. That would be the best place. You can join our server in Discord. You can join our channels on Telegram as well. Those are the most active channels. And of course, follow us on Twitter. You follow us on Twitter, you will get the latest updates. If you want the whole fuss of joining a community that's talking all day, every day. And of course, the single most valuable, powerful thing you could do for Wayru today is download our mobile app. It's free to download, it's free to use, it's free to create an account, and it's free to leave a good review about what we're building. This would just inevitably get the stores to list our app and show our app to better users when they're searching, so more people learn about Wayru through the mobile app, thus coming to provide value to everybody involved, operators and everybody else.
Perfect. I think that's a clear call to action. We'll be able to link all that below for folks who can get the app, join the community, stay up to date. Well, Charvel, I really appreciate you coming on. I am super excited about what Wayru is building. It's a important problem that you're solving, and I think both from the people that are deploying and those that are actually accessing the network, it's a value add for everybody involved. So I appreciate you coming on to take the chance to chat about what you're doing. We'll link all that information below. If you're interested, please go get involved with their community. This is a really great project that is worth your time getting involved with. But on that note, we'll wrap it up. We'll see everybody on the next one. And thank you again. Take care.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Unleashing DePIN, for inviting me. I was very great to talk to you guys and to everybody tuning in. Have a great one. Bye.
Cheers.